Share screen. Here's that. And play. There we go. All right. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Today, Tuesday, November 5th, election day, but whenever you're watching this, if you're not watching it today. But thanks for joining Debbie and myself. And today we're going to be talking about navigating the financial roller coaster of being in real estate, being in a career, either full-time or part-time, that is all 100% commission based, and also being in I use this example especially with people or agents or soon to be agents in classes, is that this is not, especially people that have had sales, this is not something where you could convince like, hey, I'm going to sell 20 widgets today and I'm going to jump on the phone and sell it. It's not going to happen in real estate. You make 3,000 calls in a day, you're going to find people, but you're not going to make any money today because you're not going to find someone, sell them a product today. It's following up, and then the money comes in and goes out. So we're going to go over a lot of that today, but we'll just jump into it. So go ahead, Deb.
Yeah. Well, kind of like what he was talking about, there's peaks and valleys, right? And for the most part, this year, from a lot of people that I'm talking to, they're in the valley, so we're trying to get you in the peak, so to speak, and get out and do things. So, what affects our market area, our market shifts and things, but we'll get into that in a minute. So, building a safety net is something that you need to do and you need to stick with it, right? So you can buffer for slower months. And that's why a lot of times when we do get those new agents out of school, especially, and they have a job, or someone who transfers and has a job, I tell them not to quit their job because it
Yeah,
is
well,
it's hard to work real estate when you have a 9 to 5, so to speak, job, but you got to be able to pay your bills too. So
yeah, and not to jump too far into this, I always tell agents 85% of agents or more are part-time or have another job. And I'm with 30 years of experience, it doesn't make you less successful having another job. Some of our top agents have other businesses, other jobs, other things. It's just the amount of time you want to put into it. And when any agent tells me I want to do this full time, like and Debbie might do the same thing. Someone says, I've been doing this part time. I'm about to, I think about giving up my day job 9 to 5. I said, before you give up your day job, write down everything specifically time sensitive, exactly to the minute of what you're going to do every day from 9 to 5 until you have that down of exactly what you're going to be doing, and not having that time at another job, that just keep the other job. And
yeah,
I know the agents that do this part-time and are successful with the amount of money we make, they last longer than the agents that barely make it full-time. And then when they're in the valley, they get out of it because they have no other income and they have to go find something. So,
yeah.
but it's all different for everybody. But
Yes, but you want to try and save for expenses. Um, Set aside a percentage of each of your commission checks so that you have your quote unquote emergency fund. And then there's advanced features like once you start rolling and stuff, but that's not what we're talking about right now, right? So we're just trying.
yeah, I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say right now, like, we any agent that's has a closing between now and the end of the year, you pay your board dues
Yeah,
before they come due on the first. Get them done. Have that expense, because we have agents every year that the January, like, I don't have the money to pay, and then I look back and like, you had a transaction that closed in November. You
yeah.
know, what do you mean you don't have the money? Because you spent it and you didn't save. So.
Yeah, and a little tidbit for all of you in case you don't know that a lot of the boards are sending their invoices out this month, and they're not waiting until December 31st anymore. At Akron Cleveland Association of Realtors, your deadline is December 6th this year. So
That's
make
I think
sure
that's
you're
a
paying
good thing.
attention to
Right,
that.
yeah. No, I think that's a good thing. Just moving it up a month just to get you just used to, you should try it for next year. It's something that you should do.
Well, right, because a lot of times they hear, I don't have the money because I just had to go through the holidays. So you're paying it ahead of the holidays is what their thought process is probably too. So,
Also,
uh,
yeah, also people are again, this is very smart on them to keep members and keep people in it because I say pay them so you know you're in it next year. And then also at the beginning of the year, if you have to the end of January or middle of January, you're thinking about tax purposes, and then and some of your slides like what I saw save for taxes. And now agents they go, I gotta pay my taxes, and now I don't have the money for dues. So
yeah. Right. So here's some suggestions on how you can use your license when you're not selling homes, right? So you're going to leverage your expertise by being a showing agent. You can sign up for Show-Amy, and show homes for other people and then get paid a little bit of money, right? So when you do that, though, put that money aside. That's money that you weren't prepared or didn't have in your budget. So put it aside and get used
right.
to doing things like that. You can be an educator. So if you're like me and knowledge is everything, all I want to do all day long is learn new stuff. I feel like educate other people, right? You can also go for professional designations, which we kind of talked about the last time too, so that you can get more knowledge when you're trying to deal things, because that's leveraging your expertise. When you can show to other people that you've taken the time to do the training to learn about a specific thing, that makes you more valuable than the other person who just comes over and says, pick me, right?
Exactly, exactly. Next
Ex-
slide.
no, expand
Oh,
your services. You can do referral network. So you can refer people to other people, that especially those people who do have that job that they can't get away and show homes to, uh, because you're working all day long. Refer them to someone else, and then you get a little bit of money that way too. And again, when you get that money, it's not money that you had in your pocket. Put it away, right?
right.
Notary or being a signing agent, that's another way you can use your expertise, because a lot of title companies do need those mobile signing agents these days. And if you're real good about it, you can invest in real estate, right? So implementing the profit first method gives you a little bit of an idea of how you should be sectioning out your money, so to speak. And these are just examples, right? But you want to try and put 25 to 30%, or at least 20 to 30% of your money that you get from commissions in a separate account for your taxes. You will have things to write off, so that will try and help you off set the sticker shock, so to speak, of when you get your 1099 versus how much you're going to actually have to pay in taxes. So save your mileage slips and all of that jazz too, because that is write off. But you can write those things off. Um, 5 to 10% for an emergency fund, or that's your profit, and you should put 50% back into your operating expenses. If you have enough, pay yourself, but pay
Exactly.
yourself last, right?
Right.
Because you want to use the rest to try and build your business, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
We want to maximize our peak seasons. So the peak seasons are going to be the spring and the summer, because then you can increase efficiency and have a plan for those. So when you're in your off season, have a plan of how you are marketing right now for going forward on what's going to happen in those seasons. So the more you're talking to people now in the holidays, the more you're gearing up for next year, not necessarily January, February, but March. And if we have a season like we've had the last couple years where there's not a lot of snow and not a lot of cold, your season starts sooner rather than later here in northeastern Ohio. So it's been nice that way, because
Definitely.
people don't want to see houses when it's 6 feet of snow outside, but we haven't had that lately. We've been really
Right.
lucky. So have a plan. Things that do affect your commission are market shifts, seasonal trends, and economic changes, right? So seasonal trends is what we're in right now. Those are going to affect your commission. People are still buying houses even in the fourth quarter, just not as much as they do in the spring and in the summer. And your market shift, we're shifting. We are still in
Yes.
the seller's market, but we're leveling out, guys. So things are starting to happen. And if you go back and you look back, we've told you all this before. And this is what
Exactly.
happens because it happens all the time, right, Tony?
Yep, seasonal changes. And then economic changes, I always say, no matter what, if the economy is doing well, I mean, economic changes for people individually too. So some people, if they need to sell sometimes because they have to downsize or job moves. So it's, just doesn't matter. Like, oh, the economy is slow. I hear this, over the overall the 30 years. Hey, oh my gosh, the economy is going slow. I know, yeah, housing is great. Like, what do you mean housing great? Because people got to move. They lost their job. They got to find a new job. They want to, since COVID, their people are working more remotely. They're moving around more because they don't have to be close to where they are. So economic changes doesn't always mean lower amount of homes sold. Sometimes it's a positive effect on real estate sales.
Yeah, correct. And you're using your time wisely. That's why we're doing things when we're maximizing our peak season or we're going into the next slide.
There we go.
Off peak season, this is what you're going to be doing, right? You're going to be building your skills and you're going to be networking the next few months and talking to people and building up for next year. You're going to implement a client nurturing system. So contact and care to your people that you know, not just your family members, past clients. If you don't have any past clients, then it's your family members, your friends, and everybody that you work with in your regular daily world. They need to be reminded all the time that you are a real estate agent. There's those little memes out there all over social media about if you walk into the bar, you know exactly who the real estate agent is and exactly who the
Right.
I can't remember who the other one is, a lawyer, I think, because they
Right.
tell you all the time, right?
Right.
But that's true, right? You want to be talking about it all the time. If you hear someone talking about where was I at? Oh, the football game last weekend. Not this past one, the weekend before, the one we actually won. There was
Right.
two guys sitting down in front of us and they were talking about real estate and boom, my ears picked right up, because I'm listening to what they were saying. And if they were wrong, I would have interjected. Believe me, I would have. But you got to always be listening to that kind of stuff, right? Because that's what we do, and that's how you build your business. You want to target relocating clients or investors too, people who are trying to either move here or move out of here. Don't forget, if people are trying to move away from Ohio, you still have resources. You
Hmm.
can get a referral from anybody in any state.
Exactly. All right. See.
This is a little tidbit that I grabbed from um, the MLS and Realist Tax. When you open up Realist Tax, one of the very first things it's going to show you is your market. They really have upped their game. This is from last month. There were 1,365 closed sales in Cuyahoga County. There's 2,200 pending, and there was a total active of 2,300 properties on. This is Cuyahoga County only. We're still only in 1 month of inventory, and it takes about 24 days on the market before they're going to get an offer. And the sale to list price monthly average is 97%. So this tells you things are evening out, even though we're still in a seller's market because we don't have any inventory. Things are shifting in the right direction. You can put any county in there, it changes the numbers. This is great stuff. You can take this whole thing and throw it out on your social, and you look like the biggest know it all in real estate, right? And it's all done
Exactly.
for you. You just got to use it.
That's right.
This one was for National Cookie Day, which is coming up December 4th. So believe it or not, it's not Christmas Day. It's December 4th for National Cookie Day. And you can do it of various different ways. If you want to give cookies that you make to people, you can do it that way. If you want to buy some, if you want to just post out a thing on social media about National Cookie Day, you can do that. but it's really nice. People like to do the pies, but sometimes you just can't afford to give a pie to every single person that you know,
Right.
but you can bake, right? Or
Right.
you know
Exactly.
someone that can bake and you can give cookies. You don't have to give a whole dozen out to people. People like samples. A lot of people will appreciate 6 cookies versus 12 anyway, because then they're not sitting there eating them all. It's the thought
Right.
that counts, you guys.
I
So,
like it. Yeah, you're right.
um, um, oh, there
And
was a new one. I knew there was a new one that I put on here. So of course we have hash coming up on Thursday morning. And then I threw one in here because this I thought was really important. There's a lot of changes going on in the city of Cleveland. And one of them is they're going to be changing things about point of sale. And if you're looking at this, you're thinking, well, duh, there's no point of sale in the city of Cleveland. Well, I have a feeling they're going to change that. That's why we should go to this class and find out what's going on, right? It's very
exactly.
important for us to know what's happening in our markets.
I like it. Right. Well,
Uh,
good. All right. I think we got that. Stop sharing. All right. Well, thanks, Deb. Well, thanks for joining us today. Remember, if you want to go over any of this more in detail, feel free to call the office, schedule time with Deb, or you could get on my calendar, tonytalk.net, and we could talk about it. Remember, put in the comments. Sometimes agents forget what I'm supposed to be talking about, so I could prepare.
yeah,
So I don't know.
right.
And of course, not don't have to do that for stuff you're working on now. You need an answer now. You don't have to book me for, next week or something. So just
Right.
reach
Use the
out.
text line agents that
Yes,
work for
please.
Homestar.
Yes,
For
text
your
line.
emergencies, that's what it's there for.
That's what it is. If you're working on something now, it's the office text line is the perfect way to reach all of us. So you don't have to wait for one of us if we're, on the phone or in meetings or if it's important or book times to talk about something you're working on right this second. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.